Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc.
I'm home, honey!
Hi guys and welcome to today's episode. I am going to get crafty today. I'm at the shop. It's a Saturday. It's probably going to get busy, but I thought I would give myself a little side project today, and that is renovating a 100-year-old shoe shine stand. Now, it's not in the best condition, but I think it's got a lot of promise and potential. It doesn't look like much right now, but if you can envision, I have these beautiful little cast horses that go up top that your feet would sit on. There's a chair that sits up top here, and then you sit in there and get your shoe shine. Now, this would have been probably in the lobby of a hotel or somewhere that was a little bit more of a permanent setup. It doesn't have casters on it. It's not a small portable box like you sometimes see. This was set up somewhere where this was somebody's job. This was their profession. This was their whole business, was this little box here. Now, a lot of times I will leave the original finish because it shows its age and character. However, in this case, it's been painted over so many times, it just looks dirty and gross. It looks like it was pulled out of the ocean. I'm going to attempt to pull some of that patina back and then put it back on again in my own way. The sides here, if I can, I'm going to be using paint stripper. I might be able to see what was underneath, but generally what they would do is they would advertise on the sides, you know, like ladies and gents shine 5 cents or what have you. There might be writing underneath. I'm hoping that we'll see that if I can get back to it. But I'm using some layers of paint stripper to get back past this old paint that's crusted on here. You can kind of see, you know, it's just really gross and deteriorating. But this should all be nice. It might be copper, like plated copper or brass. Well, we're gonna tear into it with some stripper, start bringing it back, and then we'll lay in our own finish to give it its own unique look and character. Before that, I ran over to Home Depot today. I'm going to be at some point using flat black paint. I've got some brushes, I've got some paint stripper, and we'll see. I've never used this type before. We'll give that a try. And of course some rubber gloves so I don't eat all the hair off of my hands or the skin with the stripper. So I'm going to get all set up here and then start. First step will be laying some stripper down. I'm using my old Schlitz beer bucket to hold the stripper in, and I'm just going to get it on the brush and apply it pretty liberally to the surface here. And we're going to let that set up and sit, and hopefully we'll start to see that bubble and pull the paint off. I'm kind of starting in this area here, and this is now the second coat. The thing that I find with the new types of paint stripper, they made them environmentally friendlier, which is good, but they don't work. They're not, I mean, they work, but you got to do it like 4 times. In the old days, you put on the old stuff and it would just go right down to the wood and blister, and it would be really easy to take up. This is taking forever. So I'm going to let that sit for a little while, and hopefully we get down to the finish that's underneath, and it'll look half decent. Okay, I'll wipe this down a little bit so you can see. Look at all the nice little details, the rivets, the nails that are in here. They held that down. It is coming back to that original finish and surface. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I just have to do the whole thing. I'm sure that will be an all-day project. But it's nice to see that the original finish under there is not too bad. Making some progress stripping the finish off the top. I'm going to come back to that in a sec. You can see at some point someone has painted this shoe stand white. White has got to be the worst color for a shoe shine stand because you're always polishing and you're going to get the spatter and the black and the brown all over the place. But you can see that they were wise. Originally, these were painted sort of a flat black color, and that's the color that we're going to go back to. But I'm curious to see where and what was written on the side. I don't necessarily need to peel all the paint back, just sand it smooth and get it ready, but I am going to try and get a little bit of the finish off so I can see what's underneath. I think I'm going to move over to that pretty soon. I started stripping off some of the paint, and look underneath. Can you kind of read it? We use clear as day. Well, at least for me, it says we use, and then I imagine if I get this off underneath, I'll be able to see exactly what they use. But that's pretty neat. It means it wasn't painted black. It was black painted lettering on the wood. I'm gonna see if I can get the rest of this back and we can maybe see the original graphics on there. The bottom has probably seen a lot more use over the years, but you can kind of make out an S-T-O stony. I'm gonna have to, hopefully the other side will come through, but maybe I can get a little bit more of this off, a little more of that off, and we'll see if we can figure out what it says, because I will want to get that replicated. And I think I'm definitely not going to paint it black. I thought it was painted black originally, but it looks like it was this nice finish, which is not in bad shape. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Okay, well, this I can see said polish. That's easy. It's this part right here, the brand name. We use something polish. Well, I'll keep working on that and see if we can figure it out, and then it's just a matter of repainting it. But this would have been a branded Weston Polish shoe shine stand. Really neat piece. I'm going to continue to take this finish down because that's actually kind of a nice grain of wood that's underneath there. Get back to that all the way around, and got my work cut out for me. Things so far stripping down the surfaces. One, this little copper plating that's on top here actually isn't broken. I thought it had a big crack in it. That's a design that they put in there on purpose to put the plates together. The other thing is, it was not black originally. It was stained wood, and it wasn't Weston's polish. They use, it says right here, we use Ralston's polishes. So I was wrong on the brand name, but this thing is starting to take shape. I've got to go all the way around here and bring it back. And there's a fine line between restoring a piece like this and preserving it. I'm trying to do kind of both. I don't want to restore it so it looks brand new. That would defeat the purpose. And I certainly don't want to polish up all this trim. Then you wouldn't know that it's antique. So you want to go far with it, but not so far that people can't even tell that it is in fact like a 100-year-old item. I'm just removing all the excess paint, and I should probably say that at first this clean stripper was not working super great, but on the second day here, after I've cleaned off some of the dirt and debris, it is actually working pretty good. So I shouldn't have been so tough on the product. It is coming along pretty nicely. I'm going to go around and clean up the rest of the paint that's on the lip here and try and think of a way. I don't really want this to come up like a shiny new penny. I don't want it to look brand new. I want it to look like a Wild West piece that's been used. And when you start to restore something, you can lose all the little wear marks where people put their feet for 100 years. And that all has character. This item will be more interesting if I pretty well just leave it as is. Oh, I'm going to do a little bit more cleanup on it and then start with the reassembly so you can have a look at what it looked like when it was all together. Brought it outside to kind of sweep it off a little bit, get some of that extra debris off of there. I haven't done any kind of cleaning or waxing or anything like that. It looks still like an old lump, but I'm back down to the original patina that was on there before the guy decided to paint it black and then white and then green and whatever other colors it was. So this is kind of what it looked like when they thought it needed a paint job, and I can kind of see why. But I like it like this. It looks like an Old West kind of piece, and that's exactly what I want. To clean this top, I'm going to use a product called CLR. You might not have that in your area, but we do. It stands for calcium, lime, and rust. I've used this before and it's done a good job getting rid of some of the corrosion. I don't want this to be 100% like brand new, but I do want it to come up a bit brighter. And I'm hoping this will do the trick. So I'm just gonna spray this on kind of liberally here and let it soak. It's a fairly natural product, so it doesn't do harm to any of the wood or anything like that. We're just gonna get that on there. And I'm gonna let this soak for a while, let it do its work while that's soaking, and I can just wipe this off with a cloth after. While that's soaking, I'm gonna run out and run some errands. When I come back, we'll see if it's done anything to improve the appearance of this metal surface. You can hear it working, listen to that. Yeah, I've been letting this soak now for probably about 30 minutes, and what it's done is it's made the spots that were already kind of clean even brighter, and the spots that were kind of dark and dirty are, you know, still dark and dirty, but not as bad. I'm gonna give it a wipe down and then see what the surface looks like. I might have to go over it again in these sort of areas here, but again, like I said, that's where somebody's feet or the chair of the legs would have gone, so that is natural wear over time. I don't get rid of all of it, but I just want to clean it up a bit. On the sides of the stand, basically any surface that's wood, I'm not doing varnish or shellac. I'm using tung oil, which is more of an old-fashioned style protective finish, but it will do the trick to just bring that color up ever so nicely. It takes a little while to dry, however. I'm gonna have to let this sit outside for a bit, but we're just gonna get that oil on there, get it on, and then I'll spread this all out. And this will dry a little bit duller than what it is right now, but it'll help bring out the colors and protect this wood surface for years and years to come. I'm gonna get that all applied on there and do the whole surface and let that set up and dry.
There's no seats.
Okay, we're gonna let that settle, and so you can see it went on a lot more even. And you can actually read it, and I'm gonna leave that just as it is. When I first started doing this video, I thought, well, we're gonna get it re-lettered, but that's the original lettering and it's still visible there. I'm gonna leave it just as it is. A little worn, a little faded, but at least it's authentic. Next up, I'm gonna reattach the horses to the top. It's just 2 screws, and I'm making sure to get it in the right spot. Kind of goes something like that, and then flat-headed screws ought to do the trick. There, and that's exactly why I keep antique screws around, because you never know when you need something that's gonna match the rest of the patina. You never know that those screws weren't the original ones to this stand. And just about ready for the chair. That is basically your 100-year-old shoe shine stand. You can read it. Again, on the side, we use Ralston's polishes. Barely visible, but it's visible. The metal has been revealed, and it's not too shiny that it looks fake. We got back to some of these original details here, the way it was cut and pressed with the hand-hammered rivets. Tacked down some of the loose metal that was at the back, and this old press-back chair isn't exactly what would have been on there, but it'll do the trick for now. Well, that's it. It's a working shoe shine stand. Now all I got to do is set up shop, maybe start shining shoes. I think I'm going to leave it in the store for people to try out maybe guitars or put it up for sale. It is a pretty unique thing. Maybe somebody who owns a shoe store, it'd be a great decorative piece for people to try on shoes in their shop. Either way, it's back, it's working, and it's a cool piece of history. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You can check us out at Curiosity Inc. YEG on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Have a great day, and bye for now.